Hi, welcome to Hope in the Light of Suicide. I'm Tammy White. I am your host and the founder and CEO of the Bobby White Foundation. And the reason I'm laughing so hard is we got like 5 minutes to go, and I forgot didn't have some lights on, but we're up and going, so it's all good. Oh goodness, get your heart beating. So, welcome again to Hope in the Light of Suicide. I I titled this show "So Grateful for Friends" for many, many reasons. So, first reason is to thank John Gaston with Area 52 Media Group. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be here, and his keeping on me to start the show when we started it during COVID. I want to thank Joseph, who's behind the scenes today. John happens to be sick also, so hope you feel better, John. And one of our sponsors, Dylan Gaston with the mortgage firm. I was actually really happy I got to see her this morning. She also happens to be one of our board of directors for the Bobby White Foundation and supporter and volunteer for Art for Hope, which I'll talk about in just a few minutes. But what I wanted to do too is last week I was talking about my cats. And so my buddy Joseph behind the scenes said, if I'm going to talk about my cats, I have to show pictures of the cats. So I'm going to introduce you to the cats before we go to the support group thing. So here is 3 of the 4. Leroy and Max. Max actually, he was about 6 months old when we lost Bobby. Millie is the newest one. Leroy on the left, he's just a little rip. Actually, I named him after one of my grandfathers and one of my uncles. His middle name was Leroy, and he certainly lives up to their namesake. But they, pets help us out so much, and Bobby was a cat person. We always had cats, and this is Oscar. He was actually he was a twin, and I did speak about this back in November of last year. We lost his twin brother Felix just days before Thanksgiving. He ended up with, I think he had liver cancer, and it just was like so quick. But he is just such a sweetheart, and I love these guys. They are just, if I miss an early morning meeting networking somewhere, it's usually because I'm surrounded by these guys, and it's just too comfortable to leave. So they're great. Millie, actually, the little girl, she Felix, he found her. Actually, she was wandering in the yard. Somebody dumped her last year here on our property, shortly before the hurricanes that we had. And but he would never, it was weird because he let me know she was out in the yard, but if she got too close to the house, he would just growl and like go for the screen or go for the door. He would not let her in the house. So she was going to be our outdoor cat, but now she's an indoor outdoor cat. Since we ended up losing Felix, and we got a lot of coyotes around here, and we had a whole bunch of sightings of coyotes. Whenever they start doing building around here, then they're giving up their habitat and they're always on the move. And that's usually when we end up losing animals, chickens or cats or, whatever, if we can't get them secure enough. But anyway, Millie has been a really good addition. She fits in really good. She's a little sweetheart, but she gets to go outside with me during the daytime, which is nice because when I'm outside working, I really miss Jack, who we lost a couple of years ago, who was Bobby's cat. And so it's really nice having her. So it's, animals help us a lot in many ways. So anyways, back on track. Our next support groups for April will be coming up. Our Spring Hill group is going to be on April 9th at the NAMI office in Spring Hill. And our West Pasco group will be April 17th at the Oasis Coffee Spot. The 9th, I'm gonna do it because I have to do it, like, not only for myself but for our people that we're helping. Because actually, April 8th is the anniversary of us losing Bobby, and I kind of keep forgetting that group is like the day after, but it's gonna be okay. My sister-in-law stopped by this weekend. I had left a basket of eggs up at my nephew's on St. Patrick's Day, and actually, that day last weekend, Nisco's part in the friends thing. So a couple of friends of mine, they have it's not suicide related. They're just the friends, and they've just been friends and supported me through this. But one of them, her and her husband, they lost everything during the hurricanes last fall, and we're a member of this networking group, and once a month we do fundraisers for different charities, and of course our foundation is featured a couple times a year. But we've been talking, and actually it started like November, December, that a few of us gals were just going to get together on a Saturday afternoon or something, and just get together, maybe play games, maybe have a couple drinks, maybe just talk, who knows what. And we were going to start this several months ago. Well, we finally did it. So we pulled the plug, and so we got together Saturday, and just for a few hours, and just chatted. I did buy a Yahtzee game, but we talked too much, so we didn't get to play Yahtzee. So it was just nice. So it's something that we're going to do going forward for a while. Get together. We're going to add, a couple more women, and just to be there and help each other and support each other and talk about, hard things we're going through. They've supported me a lot, and we tried to support them too, especially my friend Barb, who lost everything, and it takes an emotional toll on all of us, and so we just want to be there for each other. And so I think it's going to be kind of fun. One thing is that we're going to and she was supposed to do this Saturday, but she ended up bringing it back on Sunday. Somewhere along the way, she ended up with this big bottle of vodka. So we were talking about making homemade Kahlua. So that's one of the things I'm going to be doing in between our next meetup is having some homemade Kahlua steeping in. So all the girls will get a bottle of homemade Kahlua. So just fun things, silly things, talk, just like I said, just help to be there and support each other. Even with the hurricanes that we had, so many people in our community are still going through so much stuff, trying to get their homes put back together. And it is such a long, strenuous, hard process. I feel grateful that we had minimal damage. I had tree branches come down, and I still have yard debris to pick up that we haven't got it totally cleaned up from the storms. But I'm fortunate I didn't have all that. I do live on a small lake, but we didn't have any issues with flooding this year, fortunately, and that's where a lot of this came from the storms, was so many people's homes flooded. And I remember going down there to the area on the east side of 19, and just seeing along the roads that had the canals, backed up to their houses, and just seeing everybody's all their belongings, everything that they own, just out on the street. And I'd seen it on TV, like every day when it was happening, but when you actually see it in person, it's just awful. And to know so many people that are going through that or still going through it, it's hard, and we want to be there to support them. So that's what we're trying to do, and it was really fun. So we're gonna meet up every month. We have another friend who's going to be going through a hard time. Her husband has the beginning stages of dementia, Alzheimer's, and so we want to be there to support her and him. And so just different women from different, we're kind of like, we all do different things, and but we just want to be there to support each other. So if you have friends in your community, and just any of your friends, think about it. Maybe you guys can pull something together and just get together once a month and just be there to support each other. I think it's going to be, for us, we're excited about it, and I think it's going to be a really good thing. So that's really cool. So on the other part of my friends thing, we last night, was it last? Yeah. Well, we're in September, we've always have Art for Hope. So we had our first volunteer meeting last night for Art for Hope, and we have some really awesome things planned for it. This year it's going to be September 11th, which we had a lot of discussion about. But what we're going to do, we always have feature a speaker. Last year, our speaker was Logan Catt from American Painters out of Tampa. He did tremendous. Young guy who lost his father, took over his family business. He was a tremendous speaker. Everybody liked him, loved him. So this year we're going to do it a little bit differently, and we don't have it like totally ironed out, but we're going to this year's going to be veterans, first responders, anybody, people that were directly affected from 9/11. There's a lot of stories out there that that happen that people don't really realize that happen, and it kind of does, it focuses around what we do here with the foundation. So we have some people we're going to be speaking to come in as our speakers. We might have a panel and question and answer panel discussion, but like I said, it was our first meeting, but we're on the right track. Everything's going to be cool. It'll be at the Hilton Garden Inn out on the Sun Coast and 54, and where we've had it for the last 7 years. Can't believe it's going to be it's our 8th annual. So we're really excited about that. So one of my volunteers, dear friend, her and her husband, she came into the meeting last night, and she was just so excited. And I saw she had something in her hand. And I'm like, what do you got? Well, behind me, I got to remember which way to point. This way. She picked up this, let me go that way, this piece of artwork. And it's perfect for our message, and it's the perfect colors too. She was so excited about it. So we are going to at our event in September. But it was just like, it was so awesome. I was like, oh man, this is just so cool. And like I said, she was just so excited about it. So Kim and Mitch, they're great supporters. She's been the MC for the last couple of years, and they do so much, help me move the artwork, back and forth, and it's great. But this was an awesome find. That was an awesome find. So anyway, so if you're going to be in the area September 11th and you want to win one of these or win this, I think we're going to do $5 raffle tickets. That's what we talked about anyways. So just, another way to generate fundraising for the foundation so that we can continue to do some of the things that we do. So super super excited about that, but I just love that. Plus, I've mentioned before, I don't have that much of attachment to it as far as my name goes, but my maiden name is Hope, or was Hope. I guess it is Hope. It will always be my maiden name, I guess. But anyways, so yeah, it was just cool. So that was exciting. So we have a bunch of ideas. I left my notes for the ideas in the truck, but it was a really good meeting, and we're really getting excited about it. We have some ideas for some music. Hopefully, I can get LeMay back. He was tremendous. So we may have a couple different people playing, just as for background and stuff during the event, and a bunch of different types of artwork this time. For the most part, we focused on print art, wall art. So we're going to bring in some sculptures, maybe some macrame art, some glass, fused glass, ceramics, all sorts of different jewelry, all sorts of different things. So it's always a fun night, and the Hilton Garden Inn puts on an awesome spread for us. So, and it's free to attend, but still, just remember it is a fundraiser. So, anyways, so yeah, so that just made, there's a lot going on with now going, to different groups, letting everybody know, talking to people, looking for sponsors. You want to sponsor Art for Hope or sponsor this show? Get a hold of us. Sponsorships are always available, and it's a good cause. It's difficult, it's hard, and nobody knows that better than I or anybody else that is going through a similar journey as this. But it affects more people than what people realize or people want to even think about. And believe me, I know. But it's the silence that kills. We have to talk. Talking saves lives. And that's why we do what we do. Yeah. So, anyways, so we have been going through, I've been talking to Dr. Wolfelt for the last couple months, actually, almost. So we're going to finish up. We started the 4th touchstone in the wilderness of your suicide grief, finding your way. And so we're going to finish up the 4th touchstone. I'm sure we can get through this one, and then we'll go through some more. But you can get this book from off his website, from the Center for Loss and Life Transitions, and he has all sorts of other grief books. I kind of I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for. Go to that website, and you can go to the library. You can go to see if he's got any free trainings near you. There's just all sorts of things. I am going to go out there in October to do one of his trainings, and I'm really excited about that. Still need to raise some more money for that, but I will be there one way or the other. So the Touchstone 4 was explore your feelings of loss. And this is really kind of a hard one because, I think in our society today, you're not encouraged to do that. It's like, it's almost like, for some people, it's like a one and done. And it's like, okay, this is what happens. It's over with. Get over it. Move on. Life goes on. There's just so many things about it. And that's really literally not healthy, because if we don't explore our feelings and really, really, truly do the hard work working through them, you're really not going to get better on the other side of this. It's never going to be over. You don't get over it. You get through it to a different realm of your life, I guess. But you have to do the hard work. My friend Teresa, who's the she is a co-facilitator for our group in Newport Richey and West Pasco. Her and I talk about this quite often, that you have to do the hard work, and it is hard. It's not freaking easy. It's hard. And you go forward, and you go backward, and you go backward, and then you go forward. But you got to do the work. If you don't explore the feelings, it's not going to get better. I had there was an artist that I represented and a few years ago, and I didn't start representing him until actually after Bobby died, and I was open, with him about it, and a few years went by, and he decided that he didn't want me to represent him anymore, and I was like, okay, I'm fine with that. And he was coming to pick up his artwork, and he was just so angry. And come to find out, and I don't know when this happened. I don't know if it happened prior to, or if it happened, during our business relationship or what. But he just blurted out that, basically, you need to get over it, and that his sister died by suicide, but he was just so angry. So he wasn't going through the process. He was, I guess, still in the blame. I don't know. And I felt so bad because he had all this pent up anger, and I just I don't know. I don't know. Some people feel that if you express your feelings and you're hurt, and you're kind of protesting the death, or instead of going with acceptance, oh, this is just the way it is. You have the right to be angry. You have the right to hurt. You have the right to question. I mean, granted, we're not going to get the answers, but in some cases, these people may feel that you're not handling your grief, or you're not handling your grief properly. Well, you've got to feel it. It's part of your journey. You have to be able to I mentioned it last week. There's two ways to express. There's inward and outward grief, or inward grief, outward mourning, something like that. And it's healing. It's transformational if you're able to express it. There's also guilt, regret, self-blame, shame, embarrassment. Well, that's huge with suicide because there's still such a stigma to it. And my friend Kim and I, we were talking about this last night. How the stigma is still so ingrained in our society that I think that's partly why it's so hard for us to raise some of the funds that we need in our own community. And even when I've spread out going to our neighboring counties, I applied for a fundraising opportunity, and they wanted to figure out how I can change the wording when it came to suicide. And it's like they didn't even want me to say the word. And of course, we didn't get chosen. It's just, it's crazy. And the thing is, we weren't responsible for our loved one's choice. We think we could be, or we should be, but we're not. We're not responsible for their choice. Unfortunately, it was Bobby's choice to take his life. Did it hurt tremendously? Did I think it was the wrong choice? Of course. Would he have talked to me? Suicide versus dying from complications of MS. Thought it was going to be the other way. It wasn't our choice. It was their choice. And sometimes that guilt will it makes us feel unworthy, unworthy of love, unworthy of our feelings, unworthy of our friendships. And it's not true at all. We deserve everything that is the best for our lives moving forward, as hard as it may be. And believe you me, I go through all these things also, almost every day. There was a woman, and I mentioned her before, who to this day has not told her family how her husband died. It's been over 15 years, and her health is affected by that. And you don't want that to be you. You know, dying from a broken heart is a real thing, and I was scared of that for the very beginning years. And I don't want to. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that person. There's sadness, depression, vulnerability. You've got to go through all of it, as hard as it is. And it can take weeks, months, maybe years. I'm into the years part. But guess what? It's going to get a teeny bit better. Not always, just sometimes. They're authentic feelings. Feel them. So here's my quote for today. I love this guy, Eddie Pinero. I listen to him quite often. And the quote is, our lives aren't shaped by the plans we make. Our lives are shaped by the ability to adapt and push forward when those plans fall through. That's what happens. My plans fell through. Your plans may have fell through. I thought I'd have more years with Bobby. Now, plans have changed. Remember to put these phone numbers in your phone, have them available. Call, text 988. It's easy to remember. Veterans press 1. You can also text 741 741. You never know when you could be the hope and the light for that one person. Because remember, there is always hope. Thank you so much.